He was not called to preach. They just, just like it is done. We just introduce him as, Baba is here, blah, blah, blah. Please, Daddy, come and greet the congregation. Said the man took the microphone and went straight to the sister sitting next to the man of God, and said, next time you enter into this church with your head upside down, I will deal with you. And the woman kept quiet, couldn't say anything. That is why, according to Isaiah 42 verse 19, God was lamenting, who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I send? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant? And so Jesus Christ himself had to lament over the Pharisees, the teacher, the scribe, the teachers of the law, and say, so you people, you know how to say, to discern the weather. To say, from what we can see with the weather, this is what is going to happen. That is what is going to happen. But he said, none of you can discern the times of life. You can't discern it. That's why Paul had to pray in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 17 to 18. Said that the eyes of our understanding may be enlightened, so that we can know what the Lord has for us. In the spirit realm, there are voices. We are talking about divine instructions. Those things God told you. Those things God told you right years ago. In the spirit, there are voices that ordinary ear cannot hear. As a matter of fact, two of us can sit down and God will be speaking to me and you will not hear him. And I will be hearing him loud and clear. Very, very loud and clear. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 4, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 4, the Bible says, Paul was talking. He said how he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter. So there are unspeakable words that comes out from the throne of God. So we live in the world of secret. So there are some things, there are some secrets that are peculiar to you. There are some secrets that go and put knife in the throat of Daddy Gio now. There are some secrets that are peculiar to him. He will never say it. As a matter of fact, one man of God was talking the other day. He said there are some men of God in Nigeria today, that those that will rule Nigeria in the next 2 or 3 dispensations, said God already revealed to them. And it's not changing, but they just kept quiet and they are watching. You know the reason why some of us are agitating and we are running up and down is because we can't hear. We cannot hear. We cannot see. So we live in the world of secrets. In Job chapter 4, verse 12 to 17, Job chapter 4, verse 12 to 17, the Bible says, now a thing was secretly brought to me, and my ear received a little thereof, in thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth unto man. Fear came upon me and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face, the hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, shall a mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Instructions. Your inner ear, your spiritual ear, opening, even unto the Lord. In life, in your life, in the life of every individual, every family, there are instructions. There are some instructions that are peculiar to you. Just for your ears only. In Genesis 17 verse 1, the Bible says God was speaking to Abraham. He spoke to Abraham alone. And the Bible says he called Abraham alone. Abraham, he said, walk before me and be thou perfect. In Genesis 15, when God spoke to him and said, go to a land that I will show you. I mean, for a normal man could have argued with God. Where do you want me to go? But he listened to God, and he followed him blindly. He followed the instructions. I know there are 1 or 2 people listening to me tonight. There are some instructions God has given to you. But you know what you have done? You decided to compare yourself with another person. Why is it that I'm the only one doing this thing? This person is not doing it. And so you decided to change. And that is why your greatness have been limited thus far. Do you remember the story of Samson in Judges 13, 4-6? Judges 13, 4-6. Specific instruction for Samson. No razor must come upon his head. He must not drink anything called wine. That was the instruction that came to him. But you know what? The Bible says that he was supposed to be a Nazarite unto the Lord. But he did not yield to it. He just felt, look, the power is there and everything. And so he began to misbehave. And that is why his destiny was cut short. His glory was cut short abruptly. The Bible says he was a man who's supposed to judge Israel for years. But look at how, because he refused to abide by divine instructions. And so, look at what ended this case. There are some instructions that are peculiar to families. As a matter of fact, God gave a testimony concerning Abraham. And he said, I know him. I know Abraham. That he will command his children after me. That they may obey and serve me. In Jeremiah 35, 3-10, God had to give a testimony concerning a family called the Rechabites. God told the prophet, he said, go to the house of Rechabites. Go and ask them. Give them wine to drink. And let us see. They got to the place. And the man of God got to the place. A prophet said, look, I'm offering you wine. I'm offering you this. They said, no, we cannot do it. He said, right from the days of Jezaniah, our forefathers, we have been commanded that in this family, we cannot afford to eat or to drink anything alcohol. We are going to live in tents. We are going to live. This is what we have been. And all this while, we have been following that instructions. The instructions for your own life. The instructions for your destiny. Did you follow it? There are some instructions that there are those who would be kings. Those that God has ordained that they will be men and women of greatness in life. There are instructions that have been given unto them. In Proverbs 31, 1-4. Proverbs 31, 1-4. The mother of Lemuel the king told him and said, look, be careful. There are two things that destroy kings. There are two things that destroy the life of man. Said women and strong drinks. He said run away from it. Don't give yourself to it. And so today, even despite all that the Bible has said, some of us Christians, we are still not convinced. We still believe that no, and you as a Christian, the Bible did not say we should not drink wine. He said we should just do all things in moderation. It is simply because we are not reading our Bible very well. Galatians 5:22 talks about temperance. Don't just use your human head to find the meaning of temperance. Go and check the dictionary meaning of temperance. And if you are still not convinced with that, go to 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8. The Bible talks about be sober. Go and check the dictionary meaning of soberness. It with all the two of them tells us that is total abstinence from anything alcohol. So how can you say you are a Christian and you are given to alcohol? The Bible says it is those things that destroy kings. Divine instruction. So as children of God, there are some instructions that are peculiar to us. There are some instructions that you cannot afford to do away with. That's why when Moses, when he was about to go, he had to give that instruction to the children of Israel. If thou, he said, shall come to pass on that day, if thou shall hearken diligently to the voice of the Lord thy God, to obey. If only you will hearken. Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. When you follow divine instructions, The Bible says it is a way of life and peace. It is a way of life and peace. The reason why some of us struggle, the reason why you pray so hard, is because you have neglected some divine instructions. I'm sorry, I may make some of us sober tonight, but I believe there is grace in the house tonight. Because when you were much younger, some of us were supposed to marry as a virgin. But because of pressures of life, pressures of, oh no. Your days will be spent in prosperity and your years in pleasures. Joshua chapter 1 verse 8 is still very, very relevant today. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. I'm telling you, I know somebody that is very, very close to us. Very, very close to our family. When they were to get married, they started fornicating. And so when they actually wedded at Ebute Metta. At Ebute Metta, when they got there, the pastor asked them, are you sure nothing is wrong? Are you sure this bed has not been defiled? They denied it. They denied it. Today, up to today, there is no issue. They've not been able to give birth. And we are talking about over 20 years ago. If only we can open our ears to divine instructions. If only we can go back to the place when God once spoke to you. Look at the way some of us are living our lives today. When we were younger, we have already consecrated ourselves to God. We have said to God that I'm going to serve you. This is what I'm going to do. But you know what has happened? Because of defiance to divine instructions, that is what has brought our lives to what it is today. In Luke chapter 5, verses 1 to 8. Luke chapter 5, verse 1 to 8. After Peter had labored all throughout the night, Jesus came. Simple instruction. Launch out into the deep. The man said, well, I've been toiling all night too, but by thy word. If only at that point in time when you decided to manipulate things in your favor, you have hid that you have been limited thus far. The man of God said, no, all night. But because you have spoken, because you have said it now, then I will obey your instructions. I'm so much concerned tonight about those things that the Lord has spoken to you. I know there will be one that you did not give it. Is the job not done? It is done. I learned a hard lesson some years ago. That time, offering, I give 500 naira to Daddy Gio. So I took some brothers along with me. So as we were going, we just got to Beggar. We got to the GT Bank there. And one of the brothers said, please, sir, allow me I want to quickly make a withdrawal. And so the brother came down and he went from to the very, very simple instruction. I tell you another story so that you can understand what